this is his family, this is my family. In the beginning, it was really hard.
For months, Kelly McCabe struggled to pull herself out of bed. When her 4-year-old adopted son told her his 11-year-old adopted brother had been sexually abusing him for months, she was floored.
And it was scary because we didn't know when it even started, when he became the victim. I mean, they lied about everything.
McCabe is an attorney, a former prosecutor, who did her homework before adopting the boys. She says she pored over the paperwork the adoption agency in Tampa provided, but nothing and no one told her about her older son's long and documented history of sexually abusing other kids in his foster home.
They purposely took records out. There's the evaluations, psychological evaluations that I obtained later after all this came out.
McCabe has since filed a lawsuit against the adoption agency in Tampa, and similar lawsuits are being filed all over the state. There's a different adoption agency in every county in Florida that contracts with the Department of Children and Families to help foster children find forever homes.
And it's sad because we're creating...
Brian Cabry is an attorney in Jacksonville who has filed dozens of similar lawsuits here in the city.
Families go bankrupt, spend their entire life savings, exhaust all available insurance coverages, push their marriage to or beyond the limits.
He says families come to him destroyed. They feel like they were lied to because they didn't know the history of the children they adopted.
People that genuinely had no clue what they were getting into because nothing was told to them. The disclosures weren't made. To me, that's the great shame. That's the reprehensible part. That's something that should be rare, and it's not rare anymore.
Cabry says lawsuits over disclosure and foster care adoptions have cost the state millions. Taxpayers are on the hook for the settlements, which force the state to pay for the care of severely disturbed children, either in their adoptive homes or in foster care if the families give them back. Family Support Services is the adoption agency here in Jacksonville. They are not the agency the McCabes used, but they are currently defending several lawsuits from parents.
I think what happens in some cases is that they're so excited to adopt that they're hearing the information, you're giving them the information, but they're focused on, this is our last step.
Adoption supervisor Michelle Wysett says the agency works hard to make sure adoptive parents know everything they can provide about the children they're taking into their homes.
The supervisor must also sign off saying that we provided the information that we're saying that we provided, and there is a statewide standard form that DCF puts out that every adoptive parent has to sign. They have to initial it showing that they received the information.
She says many times the caseworkers just don't know complete histories on kids who have been bounced around from foster home to foster home.
I think we're always going to have situations where there's no silver bullet, because there are years, a lot of times, that these children were not in our care, that we don't know what happened to them, but we do our best every day when we have our children in our care to care for them as they were our own.
And they are caring for hundreds of children in foster care who are waiting for forever families they so desperately want.
You know, they always say they're looking for good families, and you know, they don't have enough families to adopt these kids, and it's like, well, you want to know why? Because you destroy us, because you're not honest with us.